The rain had finally stopped, but the city still looked soaked with sadness. Office lights were turning off one by one, and almost everyone had gone home. Only one man remained on the 23rd floor, quietly cleaning up reports that were never his responsibility. He was exhausted, hungry, and worried about the little girl waiting for him at home. Then, just as he picked up his worn-out jacket, his boss unexpectedly looked at him and asked, "Do you want to stay tonight?" For a single second, the entire room fell silent. What happened after that innocent question would change two broken lives forever. Before we begin, if you believe that kindness, second chances, and genuine love can still change the world, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Legacy. Your support helps us continue bringing emotional stories that inspire millions. Every morning before sunrise, Callum Reeves woke up in a tiny apartment that barely fit two people. He wasn't alone. His entire world was his 7-year-old daughter, Nora, whose laughter somehow made the old apartment feel like a palace. 3 years earlier, Callum had buried his wife after she lost her battle with cancer. Since that day, he had become both father and mother, learning how to braid hair, pack school lunches, comfort nightmares, and smile even when his own heart was breaking. Money was always short. Rent consumed most of his paycheck. Medical bills from his wife's illness still haunted him. Sometimes he skipped dinner so Nora could enjoy her favorite pancakes for breakfast. Yet she never noticed the sacrifices because Callum always smiled, making every hardship feel like another adventure. He worked as a financial analyst for a large technology company. His salary covered the basics but nothing more. While many co-workers rushed home to expensive homes and luxurious lives, Callum hurried to daycare before closing time, praying he wouldn't be charged another late fee. His boss, Serena Whitmore, was known throughout the company as the Ice Queen. Young, brilliant, and incredibly successful, she had transformed the struggling company into an industry leader before turning 35. Employees respected her intelligence but feared her cold personality. Rumors surrounded her private life, but nobody truly knew the woman behind the expensive suits and confident smile. To Serena, emotions had always been weaknesses. Growing up with parents who measured love through achievements, she learned that success mattered more than happiness. Promotions replaced birthdays. Awards replaced affection. Eventually, work became her entire identity. She noticed Callum almost immediately after becoming CEO. Unlike everyone else, he never complained. He stayed late when projects fell behind, helped new employees without expecting recognition, and always rushed out exactly at 6 whenever possible. Some executives interpreted this as lack of commitment, but Serena became curious. One evening she accidentally saw him outside the office. Instead of heading toward an expensive car, Callum walked 3 blocks to a small daycare center. The moment little Nora spotted him, she ran into his arms so fast that she nearly knocked him over. He laughed with genuine happiness, lifting her high into the air while pretending she weighed nothing. Serena watched from her car without realizing tears had begun filling her eyes. She couldn't remember anyone ever hugging her father that way. Weeks passed. The company entered its busiest season. Investors demanded impossible deadlines. Departments worked weekends. Everyone expected Callum to stay overnight like the others. Instead, every evening at 6, he quietly packed his laptop. Whispers began spreading. Some employees called him lazy. Others believed Serena would fire him. Yet every morning Callum arrived before everyone else, finishing twice as much work as most people completed all day. One afternoon Serena finally called him into her office. She expected excuses. Instead she found honesty. Callum explained that every minute mattered because Nora had nobody else. There were no grandparents nearby, no relatives, no babysitters he could afford. His daughter had already lost one parent. He refused to let work take away the other. For the first time in years, Serena found herself speechless. She dismissed him without punishment. That evening she quietly canceled a mandatory overtime policy for parents with young children. Nobody knew why. Months later, disaster struck. Nora became seriously ill with pneumonia. Hospital visits replaced school. Medical expenses returned like ghosts from the past. Callum emptied his savings within 2 weeks. Still, every morning he went to work pretending everything was fine. His smile became weaker. His eyes carried endless exhaustion. Serena noticed every detail. One rainy evening she found him still sitting alone after everyone had left. Stacks of unfinished reports surrounded him. Dark circles covered his face. As she prepared to leave, she looked toward him and unexpectedly asked, "Do you want to stay tonight?" Callum stared at her for several confused seconds before smiling tiredly. Then he made a joke. He laughed softly and said that unless the office had a spare bedroom for one exhausted father and one little girl who snored louder than grown men, he had no choice but to go home because someone was waiting to tell him about her imaginary dragons before bedtime. It was an ordinary joke. Simple. Harmless. But it shattered something inside Serena. She realized that while executives obsessed over quarterly profits, this man measured success by bedtime stories. That night she couldn't sleep. Instead, she reviewed employee records. She discovered the medical debt. She found unpaid leave requests that had been rejected by middle management. She noticed dozens of bonuses Callum deserved but never received because he always gave credit to teammates. The next morning, Serena quietly began making changes. Without announcing anything publicly, she introduced emergency family assistance programs. Parents received flexible schedules. Medical hardship funds became available. Daycare partnerships reduced childcare costs. Most employees assumed the board had approved new policies. Only Serena knew they had been inspired by one father's quiet sacrifices. Callum never asked where the changes came from. He simply felt grateful. Meanwhile, Nora slowly recovered. She insisted on drawing pictures for everyone who helped her. One drawing showed her father wearing a superhero cape. Another showed a smiling woman in a business suit with golden hair. When Callum asked who she was, Nora simply answered that she looked like someone who forgot how to smile until people reminded her. Weeks later, Callum accidentally left Nora's drawing inside a meeting folder. Serena discovered it after everyone left. She stared at the childish picture for several minutes. On the back, written in uneven handwriting, were words that completely broke her heart. It said that heroes don't always wear capes, and sometimes they wear tired faces because they're busy taking care of someone they love. Serena quietly folded the paper and placed it inside her desk drawer. It remained there every single day afterward. Winter arrived. The company celebrated its annual awards banquet. Executives expected Serena to honor top-performing managers. Instead, she invited Callum onto the stage. The ballroom fell silent. She spoke about courage that never appears on financial statements. She described leadership without titles. She explained that true success meant lifting others while carrying your own burdens. Then she announced that Callum would become Director of Community Development, leading all employee family initiatives across the company. Nobody applauded harder than Serena herself. Callum stood frozen. He wasn't emotional because of the promotion. He was emotional because for the first time since losing his wife, someone had truly seen him. The salary increase changed everything. Medical debt disappeared. Nora moved into a brighter apartment with her own bedroom. She finally got the puppy she had dreamed about for years. Life slowly became peaceful. Months passed. Serena also changed. Employees noticed she smiled more often. She began remembering birthdays. She personally visited sick workers. Instead of asking only about deadlines, she started asking about families. One little joke from a tired single father had reminded her that companies succeed because people sacrifice every single day. Success without compassion was simply another empty trophy. Years later, when business magazines interviewed Serena about the secret behind her company's extraordinary culture, reporters expected complicated management strategies. Instead, she simply smiled. She said the greatest lesson she had ever learned came from a father who rushed home every evening because one little girl believed bedtime stories were more important than board meetings. She never revealed his name. She didn't need to. the lesson belonged to everyone. If this story touched your heart, please don't scroll away without showing your support. Like this video, leave a heartfelt comment, share it with someone who believes kindness still exists, and subscribe to Kindness Legacy for more emotional stories that remind us what truly matters. Rose special request, in memory of every single parent silently sacrificing everything for their children, please comment, kindness always wins red heart. As the years passed, Callum often wondered how a single joke on a rainy evening had changed the course of his life. The answer was simple. Sometimes people don't need grand speeches or dramatic miracles. Sometimes they only need one honest moment to remind another human being what really matters. A little girl's smile healed a grieving father. A father's quiet strength softened a lonely CEO. And together they proved that compassion is the one investment that always returns more than it costs. In a world racing toward success, they discovered that the richest people are not those with the biggest bank accounts, but those whose kindness changes someone else's future forever. That is a legacy worth leaving.